He said you're way, way, way too fat, too skinny, way too flat.
Welcome, gentlemen. We're here for a number of reasons. One is to present Dr. Bolton with his 50-plus year member pocket watch that was presented at the Metro Founders Day, inscribed with 2024 Metro Founders Day appreciation, love and appreciate. Pasadena alumni is on the watch, and it represents all of the time in your, how many years have you been a member?
72 now.
72 years of membership. The Kappa Alpha Psi, that's a lot of time. And that represents the time you've given to Kappa, we wanted to give you something back. So thank you very much. Any thoughts?
Any thoughts?
Any thoughts on the watch or the time that you have spent as a member of Kappa?
Well, my first thought on the watch is that I'm very, very appreciative of it. I was not expecting it, and when I got it made me feel good.
There you go. That's the whole purpose.
It makes me feel good. Yeah, it's kind of an unusual obsession for me. So thank you.
Okay.
I'm not a jewelry person.
Yeah, you got a little something there.
So this is really a rare addition for me, and I like it.
Very cool. Very cool. I was here once before, and you talked about you were initiated in the Kappa Langston.
At Langston University in 1951, Alpha Pi chapter.
Alpha Pi. That's the very, renowned chapter. Alpha Pi just had a 90-year celebration, I believe.
They did have 90. Yes.
I happened to be looking at Facebook, and there's a brother who lives in another part of the country. He lived in LA at one time. He was very involved with the planning. Well, Alpha Pi, I think that's Dr. Bolton became a brother. And sure enough, and I called him and tried to make the connection. I'm not sure if you ever spoke to him or not, but Kenny McCall, and it was just wanted to let them know they have dynamic, thriving brothers here on the West Coast still doing it. Are you still with the state of California bar, with the board?
You mean the state bar?
Yeah,
Yes, I am. I've been. This is going into my 17th year.
17th year, 92 or 91? Your age?
I am 91. I'll be 92 in October.
And just walked the length of the Black History Parade down Fair Oaks.
Yes.
Leading us again, many years. How many years have you been in the Black History Parade?
I'd say 5 years.
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's funny. I think those are the 5 years I've been here too, because I know that I have a picture, a video of you with my son Jason, and he was 2016, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he is considerably smaller. No beard, no hair on his face. So now he has a beard and makes me feel very old, taller than me now. So that's what kids do. What brought you to Pasadena alumni?
Why did I choose Pasadena alumni? Number one, I was living here. I'll tell you, it happened kind of incidentally. I was teaching at Cal State LA, and one night during the recession, a student began talking about his membership as a Kappa in Pasadena. And until that time, I had been in Pasadena probably 20 years and no association with any fraternity at all. Didn't even think about it. But when he started talking about Kappa and a membership in Kappa, it got my interest. And then he said to me, I know the person for contact for you. His name is Don Mims. Contact Don Mims, and that will be your way of getting in. So sure enough, the next day, I found out Don Mims' telephone number. I called him, and he made arrangements for me to come to the first Kappa meeting. That's what got me in there.
Outstanding. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Just like with our 10 founders of Kappa, we have 10 founders, but we absolutely put much shine on Elder Watson Diggs. Kind of like Don Mims is that Pasadena alumni. There's 20 charter members. That Don Mims name has a little extra.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So, and I feel very fortunate because when I came to Pasadena alumni, geographically, where I'm from, but the men who were charter members were friends of my parents. So my dad and Don Mims grew up together. Mims family, my brother Jim lived next door to A.R. Traylor's son, Alan Traylor. George Jones, his son played football with my brother, Ronnie Jones, showed me something different. I teased because I told Brother Pollard, for a long time there were these bracelets going around that says WWJD, like what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. I go, but I think about WWDD, what would Don do?
What did Don do?
We get to a fork of the road, I make a decision, what would Don do? Would do the right thing? That was Don's mantra, was to do the right thing and not the easy thing. And that type of ethic, I hope, still lives in Pasadena. So we hit our bumps every once in a while, but we're resilient. So, Cal State LA, went to college in Oklahoma, Lincoln.
Langston.
Langston. What other professional accolades have you had?
Well, I was educational consultant for the Commission for Teacher Credentialing in Sacramento. I was at Cal State as a professor for 30 years. I also was on the California Medical Board for 8 years after I retired from Cal State LA. I've been very fortunate. I retired from Cal State LA about 25 years ago, but I've had something to do ever since I retired between the medical board, the state bar, and my side business as a marriage counselor. I'm a licensed marriage counselor. I retired that about 4 years ago, but I did that since 1977.
It's my pastor as a child used to work at Cal State LA, Dan Towler.
Dan Towler, I remember very well.
He was our family's pastor, and then we used to go to Lincoln Methodist. That's where the post office is now, on Orange Grove and
Lincoln.
Where the big post office hub is, down by where the meeting is.
Lincoln.
Yeah. But that building is on the side of the freeway down off of Royal, Heritage Park or something, where it's a historical landmark. Always, and I talk to people about Pasadena and have different touchstones of my life and family life and the coincidences. I realize there's no coincidence. It's God ordering our steps. We go where the divine spirit leads us. So you marriage counselor, on board, state board for teachers, medical
board.
Mm-hmm. Where did you get your PhD from?
Claremont Graduate School at Claremont. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool, very cool. What would be your most profound Kappa memory of all your entire time as a member of Kappa Alpha Psi? What stands out as your most profound memory?
Ooh, that's a hard question. But I'll tell you what comes into mind. I didn't ask for it. It just came into my mind when you asked the question. It was the first night that I attended the Pasadena chapter meeting. I walked in, I'd never been there before, and I really was surprised at what I saw. You mentioned Mel Stevens. I had work experience with Mel Stevens when I was a juvenile probation officer in Selmar. Mel and I worked together, but we never mentioned Kappa. So when I saw him, I was surprised. I saw Mel Stevens, Griffin. Is it Griffin? Yes. He was a table waiter with me in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
I was surprised to see him. We were both from Tulsa. And there was another brother, I'm not certain about his name now. He's gone now. Or is it Finley?
I think of describe him.
He was an elder brother. He's passed off now, and he was in a wheelchair before he left.
I'm not sure anybody in a wheelchair, but it might. Well, sometimes with conversations, they might pop up. Or,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, he and I used to swim together next door to my house. My neighbor had a swimming pool, and he would come over and we'd go swimming. So when I saw these guys, I was just surprised.
Just surprised. They all have the same common denominator. Wow.
And it was really interesting that we had known each other, interacted with each other, but Kappa had not come up. We didn't know each other as Kappas.
When you mentioned Oklahoma, was there any mention of Black Wall Street when you were in Oklahoma?
That title was not accepted by local Black people. We didn't like it at all. We grew up on Greenwood, and Black Wall Street was the name that was forced on Greenwood. But we preferred our original name, Greenwood.
Okay.
Yeah. But it is the most popular of all the titles now. You know Black Wall Street more so than you know Greenwood.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain cachet that goes with it. Plus, any time that something's successful, you put black in front of it, it means, black excellence, I imagine.
Mhm.
I can see where you would prefer Greenwood.
Yeah.
Was there any mention of Greenwood or any of the events, or was it kind of hush hush?
Are you talking about the massacre?
Yes.
Not in any formal basis, not like it is today. The newspapers, the radio, TV, everybody talks about it today. But during that time, it was just barely mentioned at all.
Well, it was, that still shocks me because when it started to be discussed, I would go, how come I was never taught about this?
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like there was the unwritten rule that we just don't talk about that. It happened. We don't like to talk about it. And then as it started to come out, people questioned some actions that happened there. And you realize it happened in other cities, that there was, I won't say a forced stifling of telling the story. I mean, I saw a documentary where one of the survivors of that event, it was even hard for her to speak of it now. I mean, and she's 100-something years old now.
Mhm.
But to talk about what happened and then to hear how it was covered up and Highway 66 goes right through it, I was shocked, but also realized there's a lot of stories around the country,
Mm-hmm.
communities that we were taught urban renewal, and what that often meant for some communities was Negro removal.
Mm-hmm.
Urban ruin.
We were ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I being a paramedic for 32 years, learned 2 or 3 years ago that the first paramedics in the country were Black in Pittsburgh. And they talked about urban renewal and how there were communities that were thriving,
Mhm.
but they would target them for, what do they call it, where they take over your land,
Eminent domain.
eminent domain, and different ways that they would break it up
Mhm.
from being successful. And when you're a kid growing up and you see, I love where I live. I had no problem with it. But you start hearing about how certain people's family leaves them a house or they leave them property,
Mhm.
and then and we're still trying to dog paddle to make it.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, it makes you have a certain thought that maybe we're not as hardworking, and then you realize, no, we've done this several times,
Yeah.
and we're still here. So I appreciate the information.
Mm-hmm. I think there's another reason. I'm speculating now. I'm not certain that the massacre was not mentioned that much when we were coming up. The Black leaders in our community, in Greenwood community, restored that place after it was destroyed. So when I was coming up, that black community was very resourceful, very resourceful. We had everything we wanted, and we just were productive. So there was not much time for sitting around pitying about what had happened.
I think that moved the mindset of their generation was, you know, and what's that? What's talking about it going to do for us?
Mhm.
We got to do something about it. My dad was very much the same way. Why San Marino stood out in my mind when they said that our chartered in San Marino was because my dad had a rubbish company.
Yeah.
And a lot of his clients were in San Marino. So as a kid, if I wanted money for going out or something, my dad didn't just give us money. I had to go work on the truck on a Saturday to earn some money.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of my Saturdays I spent picking trash in San Marino, not thinking anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But the first time I ever heard the N word thrown at me was in San Marino.
Mm-hmm.
No coincidence. And then one of the buildings he used to have a client
Mhm.
was a place called the Colonial Kitchen. And then recently I drove past that place going, hey, there's like a plantation there. And so very subtly,
Yeah.
certain things are in our conscious. We don't even realize how they're placed there.
Yeah.
So very, very subtle. Okay. 100 years from now, when the story of Pasadena alumni is told, the name James Bolton comes up, what would you like to be a legacy?
Wow, never thought about that. What would I like to be a legacy? Determination. Have a goal in mind and don't give up on it. Go after it. Define yourself. Don't allow other people to define you unless it's on your turn.
Like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Like that.
I hadn't thought about it before, but that's the way I've been living.
That's surviving. But not surviving, it's thriving.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's family comes from Little Rock, Arkansas. I remember as a kid, many times my grandmother saying, come from good stock. What does that mean? Are we cows? No, that was that that we're gonna have tough times.
Yeah.
But you are come from people who make it. So don't give up. And then I can't tell how many times in my life I've held on to that as my mantra that we come from good stock. And that's no matter how dark or bleak something looks.
Mm-hmm.
Light comes in the morning.
Right.
It's very spiritual, very it's darkness before the dawn, all the different metaphors said, but they're true.
Yeah.
They're true. Very, very good. DJ, any questions you'd like to bestow upon Dr. Bolton? Besides the winning lotto numbers?
When was that first meeting at Pasadena Alumni? Do you remember what year?
I'm guessing, I'm not certain, but it was probably 1976 or so.
Okay.
Because I had just, what I did, I took a 2-year leave from Cal State LA and went to Sacramento to serve as the educational consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed there 2 years, and I left there in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right after that I had that meeting with the Pasadena chapter.
When you say 1976 to PJ, what's your field of reference for 1976?
7 years before I was born.
For me, I remember vividly, it was a buzz in this country about the bicentennial. Everything was bicentennial this, bicentennial that.
Okay.
Special money was printed, quarters, and they had bicentennial minutes on the television, and everything was red, white, and blue. And like, oh yeah,
yeah.
It was and then after the bicentennial is when Roots came on, and that was a mega event to go home and watch 2 hours once a week for like 7 weeks or something. I forget how long it was. And everybody watched Roots.
Yeah.
That was, the black folks come to Jesus moments.
Yeah.
So, that was a big deal. So if you say 76, those are my points to reference. Okay. Dr. Bolton, anything you'd like to leave us with?
Well, I have been thinking about one of the most important contributions that Kappa makes to Kappa men, and that is serving to fulfill a a universal need of attachment. Every human being needs attachment, beginning at birth. And sometimes it's absent. You don't have it from, say, your parents or elder people who are around you. And when it happens, you become insecure, feel a sense of unworthiness, dread. And I noticed that when you're around the Kappa brothers, you feel it, they feel it. So I just want to recommend that we continue that feeling of, say, brotherhood. That's just another word for family. Well, to put it straight, when I'm involved, I am involved. And when I'm not, I'm not. So, for example, when I was involved actively, I was chair of the Founders Program. I was one of the directors for the, what do you call it when we go start gambling?
Oh,
The casino.
Monte Carlo night.
Monte Carlo night, I was active in that. The Kappa Leaguers, I was very active with the Kappa Leaguers with Underwood. So when I'm involved, I'm involved. When I'm not, I'm not.
I remember one meeting when Lou came to give his report. It was handwritten, and it was made clear that as professional men, we should turn in typed professional reports.
Mm-hmm.
And that stayed with me to this day. When I'm about to do something. They get a certain quality, a certain tenor, a certain standard, and that those are the Dr. Bolton standards, or the Don Lim standards, so that why would I cut a corner here if I don't do that at work or something else? So I love having mentors of that nature that have inspired and continue to motivate.
I can think of another instance in which I was very much involved. We had a committee that was supposed to write the nonprofit program so that we could be a profit. And every meeting, we would get a report on it, but no work had been done, just talking about it. And I remember saying to myself, I was not a member of that committee at that time. I said to myself, I can write a little bit. Why don't I get in there and get this thing done? So I wrote the nonprofit program, got it approved.
At a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually talked to Scott Senneth recently about trying to generate some funds through it and get it fired up, because we should have scholarships every year for high school students.
We used to have that, yeah. Sure did.
And that's a big part of why we come together is we went to our retreat this year. I asked myself, what do I want to achieve from this retreat other besides having some potluck food and some drink? And it was a mission statement. We came up with a mission statement for the chapter. And I don't think everybody is as excited about it as I am. I look at the mission statement as like a compass. That we get sidetracked on some other stuff. I'm one on that meeting, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Is this going to add to our mission? And that's what we need to stay focused with.
The fees that we charge for the Founders Day when we were doing our own local, that money went to the scholarships that we would give out.
It has gotten so expensive to do things. It is crazy because you want to keep things low, so affordable. We're talking $125, $150 now for, a banquet, and $200 something for a golf tournament. Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's what we were paying for Founders Fee. Same thing. That's over 20 years ago.
I remember you asked me to be the MC one year. And I have a picture. I'm at the podium, and my father came with my mom, and he's in the picture. And I think it was Peter Butler's in the picture also. But all the Kappa pictures I've ever taken, the only picture I have with me and my dad together He's not a Kappa.
Yeah.
Wasn't a Kappa. But they have him in the picture still with the shield too. I love that picture.
And so,
And that's because you asked me to be able to.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're going to wrap this up, and we'll say thank you very much. We are the first generation that can affordably videotape ourselves without having to pay a lot of money and have the archives forever give the voice of Dr. James Bolden telling your story in your voice.
well, thank you for the privilege.
You know, it's a privilege for us to be here. I wanted to ask you, we're supposed to have our next chapter meeting.
Say what now?
Are we having our next chapter meeting here?
Yeah,
Is that going to be Saturday morning or Friday evening? Or
Friday evening, 6
Okay.
o'clock.
Friday, 6 o'clock?
Eat at 6 o'clock.
Okay. And you need funds for catering or how to come?
I'll collect that after.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have a receipt to get that.
All right. Anything else we need to have for you for that meeting?
If you guys could bring the drinks,
We'll take care of that.
we're gonna do
yeah,
that.
the rest of it,
Yeah.
I'll
Do it.
tell you who is helping me tremendously. Scott Sutter.
That's a little doer.
Yeah.
I've been checking him out.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
helping me.
Nice.
He's somebody that was around the chapter before.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of on the peripheral.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed getting to know him. You know, and he's a funny guy, and he's a productive guy, a photographer, creative, all those different things I dig. So it's nice.
Well, he's tremendous help for me for this thing. Yeah.
If there's anything else you need, and not just for the meeting coming up, but you know how to call me, tap on me, and love coming by. And like I said, I consider you a mentor, and I sound things off you as far as ideas for the chapter, and I'll always have an open line, open ear with me.
Well, I want you both to know that you're welcome to stop by anytime for visit.
All right,
Anytime, 24 hours.
you might.
It's good for old man.
Yeah, I heard that.
Why is Jason out there to remote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna turn this off, and what time is it now? 4 o'clock. I have a.
The founding of the Pasadena Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. And our theme tonight is the importance of humanitarian harmony and fraternity achievement. The importance of humanitarian harmony and fraternity achievement. Our fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, is a successful organization. Our fraternity is infused and energized with friendship, cooperation, brotherly love, helpfulness, goodwill, respect for each other, and responsibility to our goal achievement. These are the principles of our fraternity's humanitarian harmony. Unfortunately, there are places in our world where there is no harmony, no respect for harmony. In the absence of humanitarian harmony. There is tension, hatred, prejudice, violence, disturbance, evil, and racism. We know there is killing of innocent people in the Ukraine. There is mass killing of people in social gatherings, sport activities, and schools in the United States. And here in America, police beat and kill black women, black men, and children. And in this nation, there is continuing threat and killing of innocent Asian people who are citizens in America. These tragedies can happen when there is no active respect for good humanitarian harmony among the people. But fortunately, in the Kappa Alpha Psi world, there is friendship, cooperation, brotherly love, meeting of the mind, helpfulness, goodwill, respect for each other, and responsibility. These are the factors of humanitarian harmony that were in the hearts and minds of Elder W. Diggs and Byron K. Armstrong, the leading founders of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. They were black college students in a racially hostile University of Indiana. But to block the acts of racism and make it easier, on the campus in 1911, Diggs and Armstrong, with other black students, founded the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity on the University of Indiana campus. And they adopted achievement as the fundamental purpose of the fraternity. Now, the success of Elder W. Diggs and Byron K. Armstrong inspired the founding of chapters of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity on other colleges and universities throughout the United States. When young Kappa brothers graduated from colleges and entered various cities to pursue their professional careers and live their personal lives, they were still attached to the feelings of brotherhood and friendship they enjoyed when they were fraternity brothers in colleges. And so, inspired by the good Kappa feelings and the motivation of achievement, in these cities where they chose to earn their living and raise their families, the fraternity brothers came together and founded alumni chapters of Kappa Alpha Psi. Tonight, we were able, because of that, to give honor to Brother Andrew Pollard. Our dearly beloved brother, departed Brother Don Mills. Yep. They were the leaders of 20 Kappa brothers who created and chartered our Pasadena alumni chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi in March the 17th, 1961. Pasadena Kappa Alpha Psi alumni has continued the legend of humanitarian harmony and achievement. In this chapter, there is brotherly love, cooperation, friendship, care for others, and reverence for the goal of achievement. And here are a few examples of our Pasadena campus humanitarian harmony and achievement. For example, we have your brother Qualls. He has done a great job of supporting the membership training program. And we have Brother Jason Johnson, who created and published a fantastic history of the Pasadena Alumni Kappa Alpha Psi program. And Brother Jason, he is also a member, one of the members who coordinate the fraternity's partnership with the Black Infant Health Care Program. And they provide clothing, food, toys, and health aid to Black children who live in poverty. All right. And there's Brother Danny Blakewell and Wendell Yelkins, Brother Jarvis Sales, David Carroll, and Albert Shelton. They're all actively devoted to the successful operation and management of our alumni chapter. And there is cause for additional praise for Brother Bakewell. In the Black History Parade, Brother Bakewell provides the car ride for Miss Ariana Crick and Miss Christina Smith. Miss Crick is a princess of the 2023 Tournament of Roses. Miss Smith is the first Afro-American to be crowned Queen of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses. The people watching the Black History Parade are excited when they see the Queen and Princess of the Tournament of Roses riding in our Black History Parade. And the people joyfully shout, they clap their hands, and they wave to them. Ariana and Christina smile, and they wave to the people who, while riding in the Black History Parade, this So, Queen Christina, Princess Ariana, you thrill the crowd. Oh yeah. Now we have Brother Chris Nolan. He is courageously committed to the Kappa Lead program. This is a Kappa Alpha Psi organization for young male children. The program provides guidance and individual help for education, physical, professional, and personality development. Brothers Derek Dancer and P.J. Rice, Leo Kablarden were children in the Kappa League. Today, in their adult lives, Derek, P.J., and Leo are proud and devoted members of this Pasadena alumni chapter. And we're proud of Brother Freeman. He attracted universal attention to this fraternity when he was the first Afro-American to be appointed president of the Pasadena Tournament of Roses. We're proud of him. And we have thanks and praise to our brother Scott Sutton, who faithfully creates photographs for our events. Thank you, Brother Sutton. And of course, we're proud of the achievement of our brother Curtis Silvers Jr. for his appointment and service as Provost of the Western Province. Humanitarian harmony is absorbed in the souls of these brothers of achievement. And now, we come to a symbolic illustration about the importance of humanitarian harmony and achievement. And for this illustration, I'm asking you to use your powerful imagination. Imagine you are in a beautiful garden with red roses and white roses. You see trees with white leaves and red leaves. Imagine the air feels good. Above you in the sky, imagine you see red birds, white birds, with red birds with white wings. See the red birds flying happily and singing in the sky. And as you look at the birds, gradually you notice one lonely red bird dropping from the sky. The bird is flapping one wing. You see the bird struggling, trying to fly in the sky with one wing. But the red bird is dropping from the sky. And now, the bird is on the ground, close to your feet. You look down at the red bird, and you see one good white wing and one badly broken wing. You see the red bird lying on the ground and trembling with tears softly flowing from its eyes. As you look at the bad wing, a clear message comes to your mind. The message is, there is no place in the sky for a bird that cannot fly. No place in the sky for a bird that cannot fly. It takes two good wings to fly. Now, symbolically, the bird's good wing represents good membership attachment. The bad wing represents no humanitarian harmony. The feathers are hatred, prejudice, and negligence. Symbolically, Pasadena Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi has two good wings. You have the good wing that represents a good membership attachment. You have the good wing that represents good humanitarian harmony and achievement. So, as you continue the fraternity's tradition of achievement, be determined to always maintain your good membership attachment, and be determined to always keep and protect your good humanitarian harmony and achievement goal. Keep and protect your good humanitarian harmony and achievement goal. And with your two good wings, Pasadena Alumni of Kappa Alpha Psi will always and forever fly high in the achievement sky. Thank you.